there cartels or harmonium? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivarada Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari He Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajrakacharya Astatara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna, thank you for having me. Not qualified, but I love the Srimad Bhagvatam. And this is a beautiful temple. It's so beautiful to see this early in the morning, people coming together and chant the Lord's name while the rest of the world is sleeping. We walked out of the house today, and the next door neighbor's morning program was petting a dog and smoking a cigarette. So this is a morning program that Americans have. And by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, he taught us a new morning program. Americans are tough to learn. We embedded in bloodlines of bad habits. So when I meet devotees from India, even if I meet non-devotees from India, just Indians, they say, oh yeah, my grandfather was into Krishna. My mother was into Krishna. What are you into? I'm just experiencing America. America's famous for being, sometimes you go to Christmas time, they have these very Santa Claus and these Christmas trees, and they have a Christmas presents. When I was a little boy, I would say, Mother, what's all this Christmas presents? They said, it's just a decoration. I said, I want those, but no one's taking those presents. She said, there's nothing inside. This is America. We've made everything very beautiful on the outside, but there's nothing inside. And so there's such a sweet and powerful and potent and depth to Vedic culture. It's like this jewel. And so many times I meet Indians who are running away from it. They're standing right next to God, but they're facing in the other direction. And sometimes I see Americans, they're so broken, so fallen, and so far away from God. They've done things already by the time they're teenagers that most cultured families in India could never even imagine. But they're looking towards light. They're looking towards truth. They've been beat up so hard by the material world that they're looking for some way out. So Srila Prabhupada brought this beautiful marriage of Vedic culture and Americans. And they all have something very unique to offer. And with all the insanity that's going on in the world right now, it's setting up a perfect storm for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take the center stage. Because people have lost faith in certain traditions, but traditions are attractive. Ritual is actually attractive, but substance behind them all, that's the most attractive. And Prabhupada's given us this great gift, rituals, culture, tradition, but with very deep substance. And what I find is that as an American, the more I dive into that culture, the more rich my life becomes. It's true. And Indians just have faith. They have deep faith. Where Indians can work on their own thing is you've got to really question your faith. Because people don't believe. Should I believe in God? Just believe in God. Why should I believe in Krishna? Just believe in Krishna. Because my grandfather believed in Krishna. We have to and Prabhupada would do this. He'd come, ask every challenging, what challenging question are people going to give me today? And he had answers for them all. He worked on it before he came to America. What are they going to challenge me with? And he had answers for them. Because Americans don't accept things on faith. They'll challenge everything. And you got to be ready to challenge them back in a lovely way. Like Mahaprabhu did, right? When the Digvijay came. He didn't blast the Digvijay. He made the Digvijay feel so special. I don't know anything. I'm just a boy. You tell me. You're the great Pandit. Please tell me. Glorify the Mother Ganga. He didn't insult him. He wasn't brash. He didn't try to chop him. He just was very, very humble. And even when he defeated the Digvijay, he said, no, you just had a bad day. You go home. Come back tomorrow. We want to hear more from you. It's the culture of love that Indian culture has that Americans don't have. Right? I'm being lovingly taken care of. I was expecting to stay somewhere else, an Airbnb or something. They say, no. You stay with us. Americans don't have that. When people knock on our door, we're like, who is this? Why are people knocking at our door? Right? What is it called in India? Atiti. Right? Atiti. Anytime. You just knock on my door, you come. Anytime you come. We don't have that. Even if our mothers come to their door, Mom, what are you doing here, Mom? Come on. I got a whole day planned. Let's hear what the Srimad Bhagvatam says. A very good part of the Bhagavatam you're in. This is Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 13. Can I just read the English, or do you want to do the Sanskrit? It's okay. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, the Acharyas. For one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. It's a double benefit. Right? Purport. The conditions for hearing the transcendental message of the absolute truth are set forth within. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. And the speaker must be in the line of disciplic succession from the recognized Acharya. The transcendental message of the Absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed. Under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, one becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Sutta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Sutta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasadeva. And the sages of Naimisharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Sri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnation, his birth, his appearance, his forms, his names, and so on, are all easily understandable because all requirements are fulfilled. Such discourses help all men on the path of spiritual realizations. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jakapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Brindavaneshware Vrijavana Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read the verse again. O Sutta Goswami. Right, Sutta Goswami is the speaker. We are all eager. This is what every speaker wants. He wants everyone eager. We are all eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by the previous masters. For one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. I think our trick in spreading the holy name is how do we get people eager to hear? Sometimes we stop people in the street. Do you want to buy a book? Why would they want to buy a book? They're not eager. To preach to people that aren't eager is exhausting. So how do people develop faith? They develop faith by our own behavior. We are having brainstorming ideas about how to spread the holy name in the Seattle area. And one idea was invite people to your home. See, Americans don't invite people to their home so much. But to feel the love of a family. Many Americans don't have families. Or if they have a family, it's a broken family. So you have some special gifts that Americans don't have. One, oftentimes, an intact family. A family where there's respect for the parents. There's something in the DNA of Americans that the children don't respect the parents. They call their parents bro or dude. It's not like that. In not just Indian culture, Asian culture, China, Japan, there's a Singapore, it's a natural respect for elders. We've lost that in America. So when you invite people to your home, and you know what else they don't have? Home-cooked food. I didn't grow up with home-cooked food. A little bit, Everything, making things from scratch. I didn't learn that till I moved into an ashram. When I was 22, I moved into an ashram, and I learned how to cook fresh vegetables. Everything was frozen. Everything was in a can. Everything was from Trader Joe's. Tater tots. That's what we ate. Frozen vegetables. But the way the Indian families are so cohesive is everybody becomes part of the service. And unless the family unit's strong, we have to be careful because America is very, very attractive. It's like a baited hook, isn't it? It's so attractive. So many nice things here. The roads are nice. The way the landscaping on the roads is nice. You're not seeing this in India so much. Now it's getting different. I first went to India in 1988. It was different. But now it's getting more and more like Delhi, Aero City in Delhi. It looks like they put a big California mall right on top of Delhi. And now India is also having that shininess to it. But in America, it's a baited hook. Baited hook means it seems very attractive, but there's a hook. As soon as I embrace it, I embrace all the treachery that comes with the culture of America. And what is that? Intoxicants, social media, mundane television, mundane movies. And I said, well, what's the big deal? Everybody's doing. It's a big deal. How many cultures tried to invade India? You get the Portuguese, you have the Afghans, different types of Afghan, different types of Moguls, different type of Muslims. You have the Greeks come. Everybody's trying to take a shot and destroy Vedic culture and implant their own culture. It didn't work. They tried. It didn't work. There's something so deep within what we call Hinduism. There's something so deep about ritual and puja and offerings. It's so deep, they could not break it. Hundreds of years of colonists have come to India. India's still going strong, if not stronger than ever. But I noticed one thing in 1991, satellite television. That alone, I watched dismantle India. Why? Because before the information age, we were isolated. Everybody was isolated. If you wanted to go to Vrindavan, you fly, you get in a plane, and you get in a taxi or a bus or a train to get the Radharani Express, and then you end up in Vrindavan and take a Tanga to Vrindavan, and you're isolated. If you wanted to know about Vrindavan, you have to go to Vrindavan. Maybe read some scholarly paper about Vrindavan. But once the information age came, everything shifted. And so when I'm absorbed in Vrindavan, I grew up in Vrindavan, or even if I'm a Delhi Wali, I live in Vrindavan, I go to Vrindavan. Then what happens is I just know this is Braj. This is a special place. This is a sacred place. And this is how I behave, and this is how I think, and this is right, and this is wrong. Once satellite television came, it gave us a new perspective of right and wrong. And for cultured Indian families, it lowered the bar. It lowered the bar so low to make horrible things that Western culture embraced. And we embrace them, but we suffer from them. But they make them seem very, very wonderful. And it slowly dismantles the way we think. We slowly dismantles what normal is. Rising early, that's normal. Worshiping God, that's normal. Preparing your food as an offering to God, that's normal. Singing God's names, that's normal. Hearing wisdom literature on a regular basis, that's normal. How can you not? The mind is so distracted. How can I not? It's like when you're driving very fast and you don't check the map. How can you not? You could miss your exit. Most of American culture has missed their exit. They're going so fast, but they're going nowhere. They've never thought, like, what is the goal of collecting so much wealth? What is the goal of this? What are we going to do with it? We're just going to get a better car and a bigger house? And then we're going to build an extension on our house? And then we'll just accumulate more and we'll pass it on to our kids, who oftentimes, if they're materialistic, will just fight over it. We think we're doing our kids the best benefit by giving them wealth? Come on. We know that's not true. How many times have given people wealth help? Sometimes it helps them. Sometimes it destroys them. Sometimes it destroys the family after we pass. Best thing we can give our family is what you're doing right now. You give them spiritual life. You give them a taste for hearing and chanting. You give them ritual with substance. Right? You have a coherent family. Right? Or else, if people come from the East and they come here, they just get so bewildered. And then you say, hey, do you want to hear the Bhagavatam? No. That's just old stuff from my old life. That life is over. We see this happen again and again. Sometimes Indian families send their children to university in America. And it's a Faustian bargain. You know what that means? It's like you're gambling with the devil. Well, now my child can make good money. And oftentimes I see, I was one time on a plane. And I was coming back in the airport at DEL in Delhi. And I was sitting next to a nice Indian man about my age. I was probably 30 years old. And we started talking. He said, what are you doing in India? I said, I was on yatra. And he said, oh, really? I said, what were you doing? He said, I was visiting family. And we got in a very quick conversation. Before the plane even took off, we had a very deep conversation. And I started talking about the Bhagavad Gita with him, and he said, oh, yes, from the Gita. And we exchanged. I said, what holy cities have you been to? And he said, oh, I went to, and he's telling me I went to Kedarnath, Badrinath, Yamunotri when I was a young man. And I said, where do you live now? He says, I live in Newark, New Jersey, and I'm into tech. And I said, oh, very good. And we go back and forth. Before the plane even took off, he was crying. And he said, Raghunath, I've forgotten my entire culture. And just coming home now, I am so sad. I don't know how I got so low. But I am just engrossed in material life now. And I can't even get out. It's like being trapped in quicksand and I can't even get out. So there's a danger. I want the wealth, I want the money, I want the security, I want to uplift my whole family, but then I can lose my whole family in the process. What Vedic culture has is very, very high standards. It's almost like building a big wall around your house. And they become very careful of what they eat. If you're not careful what you eat, watch out. It's going to change not just your body, but your mind. The Vedic culture is high fence, and you got to be careful about who you let in that fence, isn't it? Who you let in your world. So sometimes that doesn't mean we can't go into the world. It just means we prepared ourselves with almost like this ability to give association without taking association. Just like Jesus would go to prostitutes and tax collectors, not to take their association, but to give association. In our mind, we can be very friendly, but we have something so valuable. We've got to be careful of the influence, because the influence of this world is overwhelming. Has anybody experienced that since coming to the United States? It's overwhelming. And it's just like a child playing in the ocean, and he's waving to his father. You got to be careful if your children go in the ocean. There are riptides in the ocean that just drag you out to sea. The United States can be like that riptide. It can drag you off to a place where it's impossible to get back from. And what's the best way for us to take care of ourselves? The best way is, we have a regular spiritual practice. Regular. Just like if I want to become a good bodybuilder, a good violinist, a good photographer, a good musician, a good mridanga player. How do I get good at it? On a regular basis, I practice. On a regular basis, I practice. I can't get good at yoga by saying, I got a membership, I go now and then. You got to go on a regular basis. You don't just go when you want to. You want to get good at your spiritual life? On a regular basis, you hear. On a regular basis means even when I don't want to, even when I'm exhausted, I'm going to hear. I'm going to imbibe. I'm going to eat some spiritual superfood for my intelligence. On a regular basis. That is like looking at the map. That is giving me directions. Imagine driving through this big, sprawling city without maps on your phone. I was lost. Just, how do you find your way around this place? Driving through Mumbai without a map, if you don't know Mumbai. We need a map. Bhagavatam is our map. It gives us direction. Without direction, even if I'm going fast, I could miss my exit. So this is the blessing. That's the first thing we do. The second thing we do for our spiritual life is you give it to other people. You give it to other people. And by extending your hand, and right, there's this, both is auspicious. In giving it to other people, you're not just helping them, you're helping yourself. Because to explain bhakti, you have to really deeply get it. Isn't that true? You can't just parrot words out of a book. These are sutras, these are packed. Like an acorn is packed with an oak tree. These are packed in. Every line of the Bhagavatam is packed with powerful information. And you have to unpack it. That means you can read Dehi Nosmin Yata Dehi, read it 1,000 times, and walk around your neighborhood and say, how could I explain this? How can I explain this? Dehi Nosmin Yata Dehi, Komaram Yovanam Jara. As the soul, as the jiva, as the spirit, right, is embodied by flesh. Tell it to yourself 1,000 times and explain it in 1,000 different ways. How would you explain that to a 5-year-old? How would you explain that to a 15-year-old? How would you explain that to a college student? We have to think of ways to unpack all of this and get them eager to hear. That's why it's so important, like by playing that mridanga. Whoever your parents are, they're very smart. Because if you get a child interested in musical instruments, he can't just walk around playing this thing. He needs a kirtan. He needs to find other people who want to have kirtan. Best thing I did for my son, give him mridanga lessons. Because he likes playing that drum. You want to play the drum? Okay, you got to find some people to sing with. And kirtan is so attractive. Mahaprabhu made this self-realization so easy in this very distracted world. Even all of us, we get distracted. I've been practicing bhakti yoga since I was 22. I'm so distracted. My mind is all over the place. I see something attractive online, I go into every different rabbit hole. And get out of there. Wow, I was just watching YouTube for an hour and a half. But he made it so easy. And what's easy? Singing. Dancing. Everybody wanted to dance last night. You could see. Americans don't have that. Usually dance is all about their ego. Or it's all about some illicit activity. That dancing was so pure last night. They were just joyful. Where can you get that? Where can you get grown men in America to jump and dance when they're not intoxicated? You can't. Only in kirtan. Otherwise, where do you see men dancing with other men? Only in India and holy places or in kirtan. Or some drunkards at a bar. They will dance with each other too. So the dancing, and there's something very interesting about music. It stays in your head when it's over, isn't it? When it's over, it's still in your head. You're driving home singing, Haribo, 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 Haribo. And Mahaprabhu is using these mantras to purify the mind as you're driving on the expressway. That's the power of the mantras and the rag and the tal. It stays in the mind and cleanses the consciousness. Srinivatam Svakata Krishna. It cleanses the heart of the devotee. And then something happens. We were saying yesterday, right? How this Krishna we know as Banki Bihari. Banki means crooked. What time am I stopping? Acha, okay. So our job is to be like Banki Bihari. Banki means crooked. Krishna is not straightforward like Ram. He's not straightforward like Vishnu. He's not straightforward, right? All these avatars of Vishnu are very straightforward. They have a mission. They have a vision. They stand up tall. They're very respectable. Krishna's naughty. Krishna's a thief. Krishna is a liar. He's a Brijbasi. He doesn't stand up tall. He crosses his legs. His eyebrows are bunky, right? And we say this fish hook that the fishermen catch the fish. It's like a bunky broken. And Krishna gets lodged in your heart from the kirtan, from the dancing. People will go to that dancing in the kirtan and they'll think something is special here. One lady I met yesterday from China, I said, why do you come here? She goes, I just looked up a meditation class and this came up. And so I was like, well, when are we going to meditate? And then I realized, I guess this is the meditation. And I said, then what happened? She said, I don't know. I went home and I was really confused. And my sister said to me, well, did you like it? She goes, yeah, I really liked it. Well, maybe you should just go back and see if you really like it. So I went back again, and I felt even better. And this is what happens to all of us. There's some kirtan. There's some prasad. It's not just prasad. It's the prasad is getting offered to you by the devotees. Please take. Please take some more. Oh, that you need some more. It's getting offered with so much love. There's no agenda. The only agenda is for you to be happy. Then there's philosophy. Where have they heard philosophy like this before we met Srila Prabhupada? Where have we heard that the soul is eternal? And that the caste is secondary? If you're from India, you think, oh, caste is important. And if you're from America, you don't think, caste is not important. It doesn't matter. I can become a millionaire in this lifetime. I can shoot up the ladder of success, right? But we've all got our ways we think, but when have we heard this philosophy? That the soul is pure, there's one God. Every religion is meant to fall in love with God. God has many names. God is impersonal and personal and in the heart. Where have we heard that? Prabhupada said it so expertly that in his commentaries, every Indian said yes. And every American said, yeah. How did he do that? Because it's one thing to talk to Indians, it's one thing to talk to Americans. He somehow created a bridge in that one commentary that we all get it. Unbelievable, unprecedented. So this hook gets caught just from talking philosophy, just from sitting down, just creating a holy place, just hearing truth, right? Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam, these 5 potent items of bhakti, seeing the deities. Some people see the deities for the first time and say, I've never seen anything like this. These are the 5 potent items of bhakti that change people's heart immediately. Even a new person can go to this very high level, get a taste, right? Did you ever go to a movie and they show a trailer of a movie and it gives you an idea of what a movie's coming? This is what Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam, Nam, Bam, Bhagavatam, devotees, what am I missing? Nam, Dham, the holy name, Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam, deities and devotees. Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam. Some people go to the Dham and they have that experience. Well, you've created a Dham. And last night, that was a Dham. Why? Because we were worshiping the Lord. That was the Dham also. So you give these people this magic formula. Holy place, holy people, holy food, Harikatha. Something happens. The hook gets set. And even if they say, well, that wasn't for me. Too late. Too late. The hook is set. When the hook is set, the fish can't get away. Just like they say, if you love material life, if you're really attracted to material life, never go to Vrindavan, never go to Keshigat, never see little Krishna, because your material life will be over. The things that everybody values, you'll go, no big deal. It's just like if you eat some Mysore pak, if you eat some or gulab jamun, if you eat this sweet, it's so sweet that even if you eat a little other sweet, you can't even taste it anymore. Bhakti is so sweet that if you get that taste for bhakti, nothing else of the material world becomes sweet anymore. Even the things that you loved, you'll say, big deal. And this is what happens. So if we can just give that sweetness to people, they come back and then they become eager. And that is the qualification to hear the Bhagavatam. They have to want it. And so just from the culture that you already have, it's in your bloodline, right? How many people's parents worshiped Krishna? Anybody here? Okay. How many people's grandparents worshiped Krishna? Once you get back more, it's like, of course. Maybe your parents didn't, but your grandparents did. It's in your bloodline to offer love, offer service, welcome people to your home, feed them. You've got so much to give. You're so fortunate. Thank you. I don't know if there's time. If there's any question?
You're talking about the So, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So you were asking, you're talking about how to give the hook so people can hear, not the hook which can pull us down in the material world.
Yeah, it's a good hook.
It's a good hook. So here we see in our own temple congregation, a lot of kids, their parents, they were devotee, and they were brought up in the congregation as a devotee. But once they go to the material world, to the college, they maintain the two different life. Outside they are very different and totally, but when they come out of respect for the parent, they are acting, but inside they are not devotee. They have broken due to some of the temple politics or other things.
Sure.
How to keep their faith, how to keep them in Krishna consciousness?
That is every devotee parent's meditation from the minute that child is born. So the best thing we could do is you have this strong family unit, and you have a connection, and you make it fun for them, and they have friends that are devotees. You've entered into the jungle. Welcome to America. And in the jungle, things aren't safe. All you can do in the jungle is you have some weapons, you have some entourage to protect you, but the jungle's unsafe. And we did it for reasonable, good situation. There was a better situation here. It was going to upgrade my family. It was going to have a better life. But sometimes at what cost? I know we have one God brother. He was doing really nice, had a good job, and he was isolated, though, raising his family. He was Indian. And Raghunath Swami came and visited him. Everything looked beautiful. He said, "It's beautiful, but you have 3 young girls, and they have no association. Even if you become very, very successful, you're going to lament so much if your girls aren't into bhakti." And so he immediately moved his whole family to a community, Alachua, where there was a big community, and the girls are so nice and still very educated, but have that association. I will say for my son, and Americans, it's even harder because there's so much extra Maya for Americans, and the bloodlines are not so pure. You bring them to their grandparents, and their grandparents are eating meat, drinking alcohol, etc. So once the family unit has those cracks in it, it even makes it more difficult. But with my son, the best thing he did, I sent him on the bus tour, where he traveled around and he met so many other friends. And now he wanted to move to Alachua, where his friends live. And even still, I still worry, because sometimes devotees can fall into Maya, teenagers his age. So it's like that. Nothing is that safe. But it's also taught me a lot of lessons. I've raised 5 kids. It's taught me a lot of lessons. And one of the lessons is, and this is the harshest lesson, is they're not your children. Everything that we preach is true. And sometimes we become devastated by the material world for our own purification. They're not my children. They have their own karma. They have their own backstory from a previous life. And I can't control. I can pray for them, I can love them, but I can't control their choices ultimately. We hope that our son and daughter follows a righteous path. But what can we do? And sometimes it works out good, and sometimes they have to step away for 5 years or 10 years, only to come back and think, I've met devotees like that who grew up devotees, stepped away, got into so much Maya, and then 5 or 10 years later, they say, you know what? What was I thinking? So we pray to Krishna also. That's very real. Haribol.
So I would like to, I didn't introduce Prabhu when we came. So as you know, Prabhu grew as Ray Capo. In his teenager, he was a young adult. He was a very successful rock star musician, and he had a lot of following. And then the inner calling happened, and Prabhu then, for 6 years, he was in India as a brahmachari. And there, as a brahmachari, he started his Krishna rock band as a brahmachari. I was like so astonished, like, can you start a rock band while you are a brahmachari? But because he had a following, and that really picked up. And Prabhu now lives in New York, in upstate New York. He has the farm there, and the whole community there, he preaches to them. And Prabhu, I was very surprised, Prabhu doesn't hold any job, any karmic job. His only job is to preach, and through that he's a yoga.
Because I have no talent. That's why.
We can see that the talent Prabhu has is just the absolute desire to preach. He travels every week. He travels through the yoga and through his teaching. If you haven't seen it, you can hear the recording. You see how Prabhu impregnates the whole audience with the Krishna. So yesterday he was talking about all the time. Means we could never dare to talk because we'll think that people will drift away. But because Prabhu brings such a practical aspect, he was talking about the God and Krishna's pastime, Banke Bihari, and how he's crooked, how he steals the heart, how he stole the gopi's dress, and everything, right? So that is the Prabhu's talent. So I personally get so, Prabhu is talking about, right? He's very well aware that where in this material world, how we can quickly get hooked up into the bad association. And America is not a place where one can grow very culturally, very advanced. And how Prabhu is able to grow by the Krishna's mercy, and then now how by Krishna's mercy and the Guru's empowerment, he's trying to bring all the Western world towards Krishna. So we are very, very happy to have you, Prabhuji. Thank you for coming here and giving your association. We are so thankful to you.
Very grateful. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Hey Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan.
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 Jai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo.
Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Haribo, Haribo, Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo. Haribo.
Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Pad Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ake. Sisi Gaur Nathai Ake. Sitaram Lakshman Hanumanji Ake. Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai.
यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवरना गुरु ब्रजवरना गुरु यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवरना गुरु गोकुल रंजन काना गोकुल रंजन काना गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर मनोहर गोपी परन धन मदन मनोहर परन कालिया दमन विधाना कालिया दमन विधाना यशोमती नंदन ब्रजवरना गुरु नंदन अमल हरि नाम अमिय विलासा अमल हरि नाम अमिय विलासा विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोर विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बोर वंशी बदन सुवासा ब्रज जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन ब्रज जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन ब्रज जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन नंद गोधन रखवाला नंद गोधन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्करा गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्करा सुंदर नंद गोपाला सुंदर नंद गोपाला यमुन तट चर गोपी वसन हर यमुन तट चर गोपी वसन हर रासरसिका कृपा मोया रासरसिका कृपा मोया श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट बोरो श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नट बोरो भक्ति विनोदाश्रया भक्ति विनोदाश्रया यशमति नंदन ब्रजवरना गौर यशमति नंदन ब्रजवरना गौर गोकुल रंजन काना गोकुल रंजन काना हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम